Hey, what's up? I'm Katie Faye, and today we are organizing and refreshing my kitchen cabinets, specifically the pantry cabinets. So, all of this starts with this amazing planner that I have used. This is my second year using it now. It's called the Penny Pincher Planner, and it has like a weekly home project checklist. And a lot of things on it are quarterly. Some of the things are on there are things that you do once a year, but every week it gives you a new home project to work on. So this week's home project was to organize your pantry. We don't have a pantry, but we obviously have pantry items in our cabinets. So that is how I interpreted this week's home project. I will link all these containers below, especially the ones in the baking cabinet, because they are like some of my favorite. But as you can see, I'm starting with my baking cabinet. This is the cabinet that needs the least amount of work. It is such a well-oiled machine. Like everything has a place and a label. A couple of things got a little hairy. I didn't just with so a little bit of backstory. My mother-in-law helped us redo our kitchen in January of 2023. And as part of that, she really helped us organize everything. So it hasn't been too long since we did like a major organization thing. That's why I have a baking cabinet to begin with, because let me tell you, before, like, it was just wherever it would fit, that's where it went. And so she's kind of the reason that that it is this organized. But after we've lived with it for a year or two, there are items that get put there. Like for some reason, there was breadcrumbs and cornmeal in this cabinet, even though those aren't necessarily baking staples. Like I can kind of see, I'm not sure if it was me or my husband that put them there, but I can kind of see our thought process in the moment of like putting away groceries. Like, yeah, it fits in here, it's fine. But really those were the only two like major changes that I made to this cabinet. I just cleaned up all of the containers and everything. This cabinet's theme is alcohol and weirdly shaped bottles. So we're not huge drinkers, but my husband does have a little bit of like a whiskey collection. There's like 3 bottles in there. I don't know if that's a collection, but that is where we keep that because it's like the highest. And, as we were preparing to have a kid, it's going to be a while before she can reach there. So I just kind of like cleaned that off, put it there. Nothing here was expired. There was canola oil. I moved some canola oil from the baking cabinet to this cabinet. And then in this cabinet, there were some cookie cutters that I moved into the baking cabinet. But yeah, pretty standard there. Now we are getting into the meat and potatoes of it all. Our like pantry staples cabinet is this one. So these bins, I will say, like, part of the key to this organization working so well for so long has been like these little bins that we have where we just group things together that we need. So this first one that you're going to see me clean out and put back in there is our sandwich bin. So it's where we keep our bread. It's where we keep any like condiments that haven't been opened so they don't go in the refrigerator yet. It's where we keep our peanut butter for PB&J because that's just where we keep it. So anytime we want to make a sandwich, instead of pulling like 5 different things out of the cabinet, we just pull this one plastic bin out of the cabinet, and it's fabulous. The next one that I'm working on is the pasta bin. Yes, we eat that much pasta. Yes, I eat that much pasta. Oh, no, just kidding. I did the grains bin first. So in that grains bin was some rice, some Hush Puppy mix. What else that's where I put the panko breadcrumbs and the cornmeal. So that's what's in that one. And now I'm working on the pasta bin. There was also some teff in there, but it was out of date, so I had to get rid of that. Or teff. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I bought it one time for this really obscure recipe. And then these two bins gave an awkward amount of space. It's not big enough for a third bin, but it's big enough to put something in. So I looked at what I had, and I had the most big cans of enchilada sauce. So I put them up there, and like, obviously they're on a top shelf. They're not going to be easy to reach, but I can at a glance see that they're there. And like, we don't eat enchiladas that often, despite the amount of enchilada sauce that we have in our cabinet for some reason. So it's not like a huge inconvenience to have to like get the step stool out once in a blue moon when we use it. And then I had 2 cans of like Pam. One was open, so I kept that in the bottom with like the cooking like spices and stuff. But the one that hadn't been open, I just put up top for good storage. Then I went through all my cans, threw away anything that was expired, and just this part I don't have a lot of like. I just kind of put them in there so that I could see everything as best I could. And then the spices, which it was actually probably one of the easiest parts. I just threw out anything that was expired, which, by the way, spices, like, we just did this in 2023, and I was surprised by how many of the spices that I had expired in 2024. But anyway, check the expiration dates, put everything back that wasn't expired, and thankfully, like, this little spice rack that I have is adjustable. But thankfully, I got to use it on its smallest setting, and that gave us more room, because since we've done this, we now have more of the big spice jars. So I kind of organized them like front to back, obviously by height. So like the tallest things are up high, but also I organized them like most used to least used, so that we're not like knocking over bottles every time we need like one from the second row. So I kept both of those things into consideration when I was adding them back in. And then same with the spices that do fit on the spice rack. Our most used is like onion powder, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, oregano, cinnamon. I put all of the most used like on that very front row, and then everything else on the risers behind it. And then that little spinny wheel thing, that's just other things that we need like at a glance when we're cooking. So like our little container of olive oil's in there. There's some balsamic vinegar, obviously the Pam, some tahini, just like little miscellaneous things like that. Tahini sauce as well as the tahini. Now this cabinet was the one I was dreading the entire time. This is our, I guess, snack cabinet. Yeah, that's what we'll call it, is our snack cabinet. And this was the hardest in 2023 for my mother-in-law to help us organize, and it's been the hardest to keep organized. And that's just because like we have changed our snacking habits like so much since having a kid, and like before they were kind of all over the place too. Like I'm very much I have ADHD. So like sometimes I'm going to cook a bunch of Mexican inspired meals and like have like homemade like dinners, and so we're going to need like tortilla chips, and then sometimes it's going to be like very Italian, so there's going to be like those like crusty breadstick things in there. Like it's just a little bit all over the place, and there's not as much consistency. But one thing that is consistent is overnight oats that I make for my daughter. So that's one of the first bins that I made. Back when we originally did the cabinet, I did a lot of protein shakes. So honestly, overnight oats and protein shakes, very similar in my household at least. So I just converted my protein shake bin to an overnight oats bin, and then that was on the middle shelf, but this go around I put it in the bottom shelf, because That's something I make like at least once or twice a week now, for my daughter. So it's nice that I can just grab that whole bin down, like I said, put it on the stove, and then I use the cabinet by the stove to make them, and I have everything I need at a fingertip. I've also gotten some individually like wrapped chips. So one bin is just for individually wrapped snacks, and then the other bin I just put up there is for like our bigger snacks. So there's like a bag of goldfish, a bag of tortilla chips, a sleeve of saltine crackers, and I think there's a bag of oyster crackers behind there. So like family size chip bags, I guess, are in that one. And then my daughter, we don't use a ton of like yogurt melts or like prepackaged snacks for her. So I just slipped like the one little pack of that we do have in the back of the individually wrapped snacks, and then like her one pack of teething crackers in the front. And that's my snack cabinet. Okay, so since I mentioned it, I did want to take a minute to share the planner that I'm using. It's the home planner from the Passionate Penny Plancher. This is the week that we're on, and then it gives you daily checklists to do, and there's things like exercise, shower, make beds, do a load of laundry, clean the bathroom sinks, prepare dinner, like just basic things that need to be done every day. And then each day of the week there's a new list of things to do just for that day, and then you can also make your own to-do lists and fill in your own stuff. Obviously there's room for that. And then there is a master, so this under here is where it tells you which one of the weekly projects you're working on, but there's also a master version of that list in the beginning of the book. Here it is, weekly home project schedule. And you can see a lot of these repeat, like winter, spring, summer, fall. A lot of them repeat throughout. Some of them are just like once a year, twice a year things. And there's a bunch of other little checklists. There's a Christmas checklist. There's a vacation checklist. I think there's a you have company coming over checklist. All kinds of stuff. I really enjoyed this planner last year when I was using it. Obviously so much that I bought it again. It is expensive. It's $50. But I mean, obviously I bought it a second time, so there's that. I will put a link to their website below. Not sponsored. I'm gonna link the containers that I use in my baking cabinet. Those will be affiliate links from Amazon, but the link to this planner, I'm not an affiliate or anything. I mean, I have like 5 YouTube subscribers, so there's that. But I'll link it down below if you're interested. And then they also have other things that they sell there. Like this is a menu plan, so you can like, it gives you like recipes each week and like a thing. I have not used this yet. I think I bought that to get free shipping when I bought my planner. But if I end up using it and like it, I'll let you guys know. So thanks so much for hanging out with me today and getting one of my weekly projects done. I will probably make another video next week. So if you're into that, like, comment, subscribe, do all of the YouTube things, and I will see you next time. Bye!